The story, Hyde Park on Hudson, is from the point of view of Daisy Stuckley, who was a fifth cousin of Franklin Roosevelt. And she, we now know historically, had a very close and perhaps intimate relationship with Franklin. So she tells the story of a weekend in 1939, June 1939, in Hyde Park, New York, when the King and Queen of England came for what became a well-known hot dog picnic that Roosevelt had for them. And it was the first visit of a reigning monarch of England to the Western Hemisphere.
Well, Richard and I have worked together over the last nearly 25 years, so we're not strangers to each other's work. And this has many of Richard's great sort of tropes in it. It's to do with the relationship between America and England. It's to do with the way in which the detail of people's lives can have such huge repercussions for the lives of nations. And this is a story about a magic weekend, almost like A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's a weekend of a bright moon, midsummer, 12 weeks before the outbreak of the Second World War, where all kinds of odd, personal and seismically huge things take place.
I think what resonates with me, the Declaration of Human Rights and feminism, before it was called feminism, and civil rights movement, which are all things that don't feature overtly in this script, but the joy of Richard's writing is that it's implicit in every bit of Eleanor's sort of domestic life, which we do see here. Yeah, the opportunity to take someone of such monumentally serious and extraordinary life and put it in what is essentially a farce. I mean, let's be clear, there are people, you know, swapping bedrooms and carrying their shoes and peeping out of windows at things they shouldn't see.
Within any story, you're always playing around. You're playing around, and you're asking yourself whether it really makes sense, whether it's a value. And I think when I did a first solid draft of a scene in the screenplay, the scene between the King and Roosevelt late at night, I think once I did that scene, then I felt I understood the weight of the film. I felt the substance of the film was very clear to me, and therefore the tactic of the film, which is to go behind the scenes, to go not the famous moments, but sort of the domestic and personal moments of these characters that we know from history, to go to peek through the keyhole or through the window at these characters, suddenly made sense when I had this scene sitting there in the middle of the screenplay.
Well, FDR probably saved the war for us. I mean, I think that's no exaggeration. FDR was keen on helping England, and there's a huge statue to FDR in Grosvenor Square, which is a tiny memento of what we feel historically our debt is to FDR.